Okay, so I feel fine. So I like this one. This was suggested to me by Lynn. So I like it as one to do because there's kind of, I suppose you could say, three different levels on which you can play it. So the most basic one is, of course, taking all those seven chords and just replacing them with their major counterparts. So instead of D7, C7, and G7, you can just play the intro like D, da, 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 C, dum, da, 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 G, dum, da. And then same with the verse. Baby, it's good to me. So no changes here at all. Just happy as can be, she says so. So that's a regular D there. I'm in love with her and I feel fine. So you can just completely simplify it like that and that'll be perfectly fine. Next level is to play the seventh chords. And preferably with a kind of an on and off as well, going from the seven to the major. So for example, the way you would do that with D, for example, is taking that first finger, the one that's on the second string down, off and on. So there's D7, D major. So you could have start off maybe here with a G7. So G7 is just G upside down. You kind of have to switch your fingers around a little bit. So first finger, first fret on the second string up, third finger and second finger. There it is. So with that, you can just go the little finger on, off and on like that, and then C7, of course, is there's C, there's C7. So you can always replace a seventh chord with its major counterpart and not have any trouble with it. Now, just keep in mind that the inverse doesn't necessarily work. Okay, so as for the more complicated way of doing it, then where you're actually getting the melody into it. So this is how I've found a way to do it. So what you're doing is you're playing the chords and you're trying to find the melody within the chords in a way that's kind of reachable while still playing the chord. So start off in the intro, we've got D. So there's the melody there. So first finger goes up, that one comes open. Then you can either use your little finger here or you can just slide up the third finger. So that's the melody within the D chord there. So one more time. Dum, da, 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 da. See? Now, so the next one in the record is dum, da, 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 da. So we've got, instead of dum, da, 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 da. Now, obviously, this is the lowest note that we can get on the ukulele. So in order to get that lower one, what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to take the whole thing up an octave, go to this C here. Now we can just go da da da, and there's that B flat we couldn't reach down here. So the C1 is, okay. So once again, dum, da, 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 da. So first fret on the second string up, off, second fret on the C string, third string up, and then if you can. Now you can, going up to the fourth fret on the C string. Now you can, this fourth fret note here is also there, right? So you can get it there as well. You don't have to reach up for this if you don't want to. It does make it a little bit more defined if you do, but that note is still there anyway. So what you could just do is because the note is already there, so you can just hold that position and hit it twice. It's a little bit of a shortcut, but it sounds perfectly fine. And then the G. So this is the most important one because this, you can do this one throughout the verse as well. So you start off with a G7 shape like that, okay? So you come at it like this because switching from a G7 to a G is easy, right? All you have to do is just add the little finger there and there you go. But going from this normal G shape to a G7 is a lot harder. There's a lot more switching around to do with it. So if you come at it like this, then you can just add that in there. So again, that's, so with this melody, you hit the chord first and then you do the melody. It's dum ba da 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 da, chord da 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 da, chord da. So there's always that one beat where you just hit it and then you do the melody. So chord da 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 So that's, you've got your G7 shape here. Start off with a little finger there. Leave it go, and then coming up here, 3rd fret on the bottom string. Off, 3rd finger off, on, off. So that's the melody there. So that's how it's done within the chords. So what we've got is, for the intro, we've got, sorry, leave that one open. C. So start off the chord like this, so that one's there ready to go. So and then G, come at it here. So you can kind of pivot around on that middle finger. Boom, there's the G7. So with something like that, just start it off really slow. Now, with the those higher notes, that little bit of every one, those should be up strums because they're on an offbeat. So as I always say, you should be moving like that over and over and over again. And if you're doing that, then those those will just naturally occur on the up, on the offbeat. So watch again. So we've got, I'll just do the G one over and over again. So up, 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 down, 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 up, 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 down, up. Okay? So rhythmically, those little ones are on an offbeat, so they'll fall on the up. You can do them on a down, but you're gonna be, your movement's gonna be a little bit irregular. So down, 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 down. So it can be done, but you will have to interrupt your sort of general rhythm in order to do it that way. So I'd recommend trying to hit them on the way up. Now, if you have trouble doing that while singing, no problem at all. Obviously, it's pretty tricky. The play-along video was not my first take, so... but, you know, just get it in wherever you can. Now, with the chorus, then we've got basic chords then. So you wouldn't play a G7 for the I'm So Glad. That's just a G. B minor, or it can be block, like that as well. C, D, no problems there at all. And then... for the very last bit then, we've got she's in love with me and I feel fine. And then another 3 of those. Oh, oh, oh. And then we end on the G. Okay, so that, I think that pretty much covers everything that might be a little bit iffy. But again, if you don't want to worry about any of that stuff and just do, you know, G, D, and C major, no problem at all. It's just that, you know, without worrying about the 7s or the melody, that'll work perfectly fine as well. All right, let's see how we get on with it.